Can I put it like right here? Hello. Okay. Hi. This is India from India. Josh and India staying together. We're here for my first video. I know it's been a long time. I'm glad to finally start this video for y'all. I thought I would use this just to talk about teaching first, because that is why I am up here. This was the only school that I applied to, the only one at all. I went to an informational session and saw that they were hiring, LKSD was hiring, and I knew that this was the place I had to be. Why? I don't know. Maybe because I thought like this was a place where I felt that I could be used to help teach, and I would also learn more than I've experienced in Pennsylvania for 22 years of my life. For those who don't know, it is so far. It's 3 planes away and maybe a boat or a snowmobile or a sled, depending on the weather, I guess, and how adventurous you're feeling that day. When I got here in August, I had no idea what to think. I didn't know about like how the school was really. I've never been here before. I've never been to Alaska before. Of course, I did my research. I looked on YouTube about people who have taught in the lower Kuskokwim Delta. I did my research of people who have taught in remote villages out here, checked out the school Facebook page, their website, all this fun stuff, but it didn't give me what Nunap is. It didn't give me any of that until I got here. It was beautiful, it was a sunny day, and it was just me. I came up early before any of the other new teachers came because we had something called a DLE. Some of the schools are dual language schools, so they speak in Yukton for part of the day and English. Yukton is the language that's spoken by the people that I serve here, Yupik people. I went to that training even though my school isn't a DLE school, it's not dual language. I kind of wanted just to see like, what's that about? I got here, was just me and the principal and her husband, who is the math teacher here. She gave me a quick tour around the village where I got a little bombarded by kids playing ball, wanting to know who I was, what I was teaching, and all this fun stuff. And it was a beautiful day. Tons of mosquitoes, but just summertime, you know? And I got here and I just had the food that was in my suitcase. So it was very bare minimum. The post office wasn't open since it was, I think, a Sunday. So I didn't have any pots or plates or pans. And I just ate, what did I eat? Like, I don't know, maybe like I forget. I think it was like a cereal bar or something like that. And I just lived off of that. I coasted on that until the post office was open and I could get my bags and my luggage. And I went back for new teacher training and came back, met the other new teachers. There's 2 of them, so it's not just me. Once the school year actually started, this is my first teaching experience ever, so I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect, as I said before, but I'm not gonna lie, it started off really, really rough. There was a lot of testing of boundaries. My students wanted to see what kind of teacher I was and what I allowed and what I didn't allow, because these kids, prior years, the 2 years before, COVID really hit this village hard. They were on packets for most of the year last year. I think they returned in May, maybe March. They had a few months outside of packets where they got to actually meet the teachers that were giving all these assignments. So it's been difficult. It's been difficult for them to kind of learn how school runs and learn how to respect school and learn what's expected of them when they're in school and how to do work and all this stuff. Like, it was hard earning their trust and making school a place where they want it to be. But it's progress, you know? We started off on, I wouldn't even say a low. We started off on a rough patch, but I can't explain it. Like, I'm truly grateful for the class that I've had because I've learned so much about behavior management and how to talk to people, you know, talk to these kids and teach them something that matters to them. Because I would say, like, our curriculum is great for science and social studies because it has pictures of people from villages nearby and from here, and it has aspects of subsistence living and things that are important to them, while other curriculum is like, you know, content with kids that don't necessarily look like them all the time. So it's been interesting kind of like interweaving lessons and making it important and making it something that they care about. Josh? Josh? The laptop turned off and then now my picture is frozen.
What are you doing?
I didn't even touch anything. Anyway, so yeah, now I would say that the class is running a lot smoother and we're getting to learn quicker and we're getting to learn more about my class. So I have, the funny part is, listen, it changes. I've had 16 kids at some points. I have had 9. I've had 6. I've had 13. Right now, I have 13 kids. It fluctuates for those who are on remote learning, so they only get the package. It also changes depending on if a family is moving. Sometimes families hop from village to village. So I just had a new student at the end of February, and then that student left me in March. So there's a lot of flip-flopping. So I always have to be on my toes. What I've started to do is have like an extra desk or an extra 2 desks. Always. So if an extra student is thrown my way, I have materials ready on that desk, and I have a name tag generator on my desktop, so I can quickly print out a name tag, have somebody laminate it for me, and make sure this kid, it feels like they're in a place that they're supposed to be. Like, it feels welcoming for them. That also means that I've created a lot of relationships with these students, and there's been times where they just leave and I have no warning and no chance to say goodbye, which is always sad. But you know, I always keep their old materials in a place, in a cubby, just in case they come back for them. Just in case if I don't see them for the rest of this year, I can give it to them next year, pass it on. But that's been heart-wrenching. I hope that I continue to have 13 students. There was a couple times throughout the year where I had all my students in attendance for like 5 straight days, and then we went on lockdown. That's also a real reality of teaching out here. I have to wear my mask. my mask all day, every day, in the classroom, even outside of the classroom to be safe. Which, I mean, third graders, they have a hard time with it sometimes. They, like, keep it right here, and then I have to be like, mask up. Or they'll be eating for a long while, and then they'll keep it down here for, like, after they're eating, and I'm like, oh, okay, we gotta put that mask up, make sure we're safe. But it's difficult because I know it can be hard to breathe all day like that, especially during gym, physical activity, during gold noodles, all that fun stuff. It can be difficult, but they've definitely gotten better, especially since in and out of lockdown. I think they have seen how easy it is to get COVID if we're not careful. I think we've had, I want to say three to four lockdowns this year. After winter break and after spring break, we had to be quarantined for 5 days. So we have quarantine workers here that will deliver our post to us, or we can order it through the store and get it delivered, which has been difficult. It was extremely hard switching back and forth between being in person and still having kids on packets and being on remote learning on lockdown, and then having to make packets for everybody. That change up, that switch between what we're gonna do was hard on me in the beginning, but now I've gained some clarity, I've gained some practice, which has helped me so much. I mean, this first year of teaching has been so much practice, so much trying and failing, so much trying and succeeding, and I don't think I would have been able to do it all without, like, the partnerships that I've made here, especially with the other new teachers. Just being able to vent with them, being able to talk to them, having Josh here to talk to, and just sometimes, if you know any teachers, sometimes you gotta let out a good old cry or a good old laugh about the funny stuff our kids do, because, oh my gosh, they are hilarious. This is a side tangent story, but I had one of my kids go up to me in the morning, very, very serious, and she was like, Miss India, I dreamed about you last night. And I was like, oh, really? What did we do? What was in the dream? And she was like, my sister, I was trying to help her. She was sick or something. And you were there, and you were lazy. And I was like, oh, really? I was lazy. And she said, yeah, you wouldn't help at all. And I was like, well, did I help eventually? And she said, yeah, but you were still lazy. And I was like, okay, well, if it was the weekend, I'm always lazy on the weekend. I don't know what I can tell you. But stuff like that, like, it brightens my day to have these experiences, not only with my kids, but fellow teachers. Even my classroom aide, which is one of my students' one-on-ones, but she also acts as an aide sometimes to support me when her one-on-one isn't here. This person has been maybe one of the best connections I've made here. She is from Nunapitchuk, and she's just the person I go to with all my stupid questions and all my pronunciation questions, because I have to take 2 courses to get my second year certification here. One of which being my multicultural studies. There we go, multicultural studies course. So It's been a lot. It's been a lot of stupid questions. Like, how do I pronounce Yuyorak? And I still probably need a lot of practice with it. It's truly been a blessing. It's been hard. Teaching is hard. It's no joke. I thought I was gonna do well. But mostly I just feel like, I'm trying to do the most I can for these kids, which is hard. A hard feeling to have, and I'm trying to push through it every day. We got 3 more months, and I got my standards highlighted for what I want to teach them before they leave my class. Volunteering here as a teacher is pretty fun. I got to go to an NYO competition, Native Youth Olympics. There's also basketball here, which I got to help out by cooking food for our team, our Nunapitchuk Wolves, and another competing team from, I think, Agula, but don't quote me on that because it was a neighboring village. Oh, there's so much about the school that I can go on and on and on. I had the whole village, well, not the whole village, parts of the village had a power outage. The principal or site admin comes in on the overcom and says, "Hey guys, there is a power outage. If you want to stay overnight, you can." So I'm staying overnight. I call up Josh and I say, "Hey, so power's out. I'm sure that you're aware that the power's out too on your end." And he's like, "Yeah, the power's out." And I'm like, "Okay, well, the site admin said that we could stay at the school. Do you want to bring over a suitcase?" Yes, he's on top of it. I grab a mat from the gym, one of those blue mats that you used to do maybe yoga on, one of those gymnastic mats. I brought that over, popped it in. Right now, my classroom is in the shape of a circle, so we popped the mat down there. At the end of the day, Josh brought this huge suitcase stacked with canned chicken, soup, dried fruit, cranberries that tasted like oranges, delicious, clothes, cups, 2 items of every dishware thing item, drinks, drink pouches, the emergencies. Thank you. Shout out to Miss Sager on the emergencies. Blankets, pillows. And we set up a bed, and we camped out for the night. Even though at like around maybe 8 to 10, there was another announcement saying that, the power's back on, you can go home. Josh was so stubborn. He was already camped out with his computer. He was like, I don't really want to go home. I did all this work to bring it up here. And I was like, I don't really want to go home because it's dark out now and I don't want to walk. And the kids at this time aren't in school. It's just teachers in the building. So we camp out for the night. And for those who don't know, which I imagine is almost everyone here, there are some ghosts in the school around like 3 a.m. I didn't go to bed until like 12 a.m. because it was not comfortable. It was warm. There was water, but it was not comfortable. And around 3 a.m., I wake up and I'm in like a sweat, like a panic sweat. And I just hear papers rustling and footsteps. And I look up and there's no one there. Head back down, try to go to sleep. I hear the same thing. Footsteps, rustling of paper. I look around again, keep hearing it. I put my head back down. Ooh, no. I look up. No, I look up and nothing happens. Put my head back down, same thing. After like 3 or 4 times of that, I woke up Josh because he was right next to me on the mats, and I shook him awake. And I was like, Josh, we gotta pray, because, okay, backstory, side tangent. one of my fellow teaching aides, one of the people who work at the school, E, let's call her E, she has told me about many of ghost stories to happen in her house. And one common vein is that she prays it away so it doesn't hurt her or her family. She's like, I didn't do nothing to you, so don't mess with me. So I thought of that during this, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna wake up Josh and we're just gonna pray. And I went through this whole spiel. I was like, hey, God, if you're there, I just want to make sure that this ghost isn't going to mess with me or Josh. Please grant this ghost a restful sleeping place, whatever. Head back down. Nothing. It was fine. But I was still frazzled. So I was like, you got to stay up with me a little bit, Josh. I turned on the light. Chilled for a little bit, watched a movie, fell asleep to the movie, and we made it through sleeping in my classroom for one night. The next day, I told my friend S, a fellow teacher, about what happened, and she was terrified. I told her aide, E, and she was like, oh, really? That's exciting. And all day I had people coming in and out of my classroom talking about this ghost story that I experienced. And our janitor, S, was like, I'm not even scared about it. Because I've had worse happen to me. I've seen things like that. Not only did S experience this, our janitor, but M, our site admin, have heard a basketball being dribbled in the court in our gym, which is like at the center of our school. So on this side is the elementary side. I'm looking at it head on. I'm going through the entrance of the school. On this side, it's the elementary side. Then we have the basketball court or the gym area slash cafeteria area. And then you walk down the hallway, and it's the secondary side. But there's been times where they've both heard this basketball being dribbled. They look in the gym, and nothing's there. No basketball, no people, nothing. I don't know if you're a believer. I believe in ghosts, and boy, it keeps things interesting here. So the more you know things that kind of like make me happy, bring me joy, add some spice to my stay. I mean, even my kids, even my students love ghost stories. We started this thing where at the end of the day, us there packing up, putting on all their winter gear, because it's a lot. They have the boots, they have the pants, the snow pants, and they have their coats and their hats and their gloves, all this stuff that they're putting on. And at the end of the day, we watch ghost stories. I let my kids pick which ones on YouTube, and we watch it. We all get scared, and then goodbye, have a good day. As they exit, I give them a fist pound, maybe an elbow touch, and that's it. And it's our special thing. It's been great. It's been great teaching out here. I don't know. It makes me happy. I think I'll definitely be returning next year. So, more videos, because hopefully I'll be less tired. And it's official. I won't be a third grade teacher next year. I will be the special education teacher for the elementary side. Hold the applause. Woo, yay, yay. Elementary teacher, woo. So it'll be a little different. My stories will probably be a little different. I won't have as big as a class, but I still will have a few kids that I'm serving. At least, I won't even tell you how many. You'll have to see next year. Ha ha ha. Leave a comment if you have any questions for Josh or I. We have so much to talk about with weather, so much to talk about with living the subsistence lifestyle. Only a little bit because I sadly am a bit of a consumer. But yeah, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Josh and Indy staying together. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm just tired most of the time. Okay, bye guys.